Hey y'all, I'm in the Peloton room today, riding on the stationary bike because I'm injured yet again, which bugs the hell out of me, but it's just the way it goes. So, doing some intervals, getting some work in. It's a little bit tough, but I eat broccoli, so it is all good. Hello and welcome to my dark bike ride. I am Parker Cleveland. So today I wanted to talk about being hurt and being injured and why I'm not running and why that intro video was of me on the Peloton instead of me running or doing something like that. I guess I'll start with why. Why in the first place did I want to start barefoot running and minimal running? For me, I said it kind of in the introduction of the channel video. Check that out if you haven't. But this time last year I was getting ready for a 50-kilometer ultra marathon. That was actually I think the middle of February, so right about this time. And then a few weeks after that, I was going to be doing the Atlanta Marathon. And I did both those races, but I started having this weird pain kind of around the toe of my right foot. Those races I ran in kind of a new type of shoe for me. I had been running just all my running in Ultra, and I switched that up to kind of do a few more different types of shoes. So the training I did for the running was in a New Balance Beacon. I also ran the actual marathon in I think a Saucony Triumph, the super cushion Saucony. And then I was doing some work in an Ultra Duo. For the trail run, I used some kind of Solomon, like the cross something, can't remember. But the really sort of aggressive trail shoe. I ended up, I don't know if it was the shoes or my mechanics or both, probably more my mechanics though. But it ended up creating a bunion in my right foot. And so, I ended up seeing a physical therapist, strengthening everything and working my foot so that bunion wasn't giving me trouble anymore. And while I was doing that, I wasn't able to run for about 6 months. Pandemic, everything going on like that. So I was doing a little bit more on the bike and started doing some strength training. But as I, got healthier and was getting ready to run again, the benefits that I was looking for, and the reason that barefoot running appealed to me is that, I wanted to be able to run healthy. And kind of, to me, the best way to do that was get back to kind of basics. Barefoot running seemed like the most basic thing to do. So I was running barefoot and in some, super flexible, minimal style shoes, like, 3-4 millimeter outsole, and that's it. There's not much to them, no midsole. And the benefits to that are supposed to be that you have fewer injuries. Again, the idea being, you're just running more naturally, so your foot, your ankle, your legs, your entire kind of kinetic chain are moving the way that they are supposed to run. They're the way they're supposed to move when you're running. So the steps that I took in order to actually get healthy were based on seeing a physical therapist, doing foot exercises, stretching, and strengthening, especially kind of my hips, quads, and glutes. And then from there, also doing a lot of foam rolling and massage. I got dry needled in my calves and in my hips a whole bunch of times. It's definitely not very comfortable. And then doing yoga, a lot of yoga, which I enjoy doing. So, hey, plug for yoga with Adrian if you want to get into some cool, very accessible yoga practice videos. The other thing that I added into kind of what I was doing was kettlebells. I got like a 35-pound 16 kilogram kettlebell. Um, and with that, just doing like swings, Turkish get up, squat, clean and press, snatch. And then also kind of threw in some other cool things to do too, just because I thought it was neat, like working with a 15-pound steel mace, doing steel mace swings. And then doing some kind of heavier lifting type things, doing like sandbag lifts, and working with a hydrocore, which is this cool thing that you can kind of gives you a lot of different cross body movements that makes you stabilize your muscles and really works kind of like it's just a really diverse tool. It's cool. So in the middle of all that, my physical therapist kind of gave me the green light to start running again. I started at 20 minutes basically. Well, I didn't actually. I started at like 3 minutes. It was crazy. So it was like I'd walk for 3 minutes, I'd run for 30 seconds, I'd walk for 30 seconds, I'd run for 30 seconds. I could do that, and then that would put together like 10 minutes of a run, which was like actually like 7 minutes of running. Anyway, I from there, you know, I kind of worked that up to 20 minutes, where I was really, you know, I'd run for 2 minutes, walk 30 seconds, and from there I was trying to, you know, build up, adding 2 minutes to each of those 20-minute sessions, and then trying to cut down that rest time. PT said that that was okay, but you know, and I also got a run analysis where, you know, it was pretty clear that I was overstriding. So in order to deal with that, I you know, started really focusing on my cadence, and trying to run at 180 steps per minute. But with all that, I think I ended up doing a little bit. I still kind of ended up doing a little bit too much too soon, too fast, and then I made the classic runner mistake of not listening to some pain that I was having. You know, there's kind of like a funny thing I've heard that like the difference between runner and cyclists are that cyclists want the pain to go away, runners just want it to hurt less. So I thought that, you know, I talked myself into not being that bad, but kind of had some pain in my arch, and then somehow that ended up like migrating to the top of my foot, because the top of my foot one time on a run just seized up, couldn't put any weight on it, and so that was sort of at the start of December. So here I am, middle of February, start of February really, and not really back to running. And anybody who's a runner knows that being hurt sucks. It just sucks. But I've definitely kind of like wallowed a bit in that and been super dramatic about it, you know, like you just feel like I'm hurt all the time, but I'm really not. Like I think that I do a pretty good job of staying healthy and being able to run. It's just kind of a lot's been going on in the last year, and it's just kind of stopped me from doing what I want to do. But I think that being hurt can also be a chance to improve. So what am I doing? One thing I'm doing is still doing that kettlebell program. So the idea with it is, you know, if you're doing kind of kettlebell swings, kind of deadlifts, and then kind of cross body movements, what you're doing is really, really working on making sure that your glutes and quads are getting a lot stronger. But then it also adds some endurance to it where, you know, you're keeping a high heart rate up, so that, you know, you're still kind of giving the muscles the idea that like, yeah, they're going to be working for kind of a long time on the endurance side. And I think that that's pretty useful for runners. At least I hope so. So I'm using a program through Living Fit through Kettlebell Kings. It's a bit more of kind of like a high intensity style program, and that is happening 5 days a week. When I'm not doing that, the other 2 days a week, I'm doing the Peloton, so I'm on the stationary bike. So my Peloton video that I made, you know, I kind of talked a lot about how it's so boring and blah, 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 it's boring. And, you know, that was like, you know, kind of like a hilarious joke that I was saying. It was a really good joke. But, you know, I think that kind of gets back into the drama of being a runner, you know, where it's like, I can't do anything, I'm hurt. But you know, I, stepping back from that, I think like what I'm really trying to do with this time is to get away from that and use this as a time wisely to get ready for when I'm healthy. So, um, what I'm doing and what I was doing on the bike was an interval workout where take like a 10-minute warm up, and then for 10 minutes you do 40 seconds, really hard ride, really higher cadence, like around like 120 pedal strokes a minute. So higher cadence at a harder gear, and then for 20 seconds you rest. So just kind of spin at a lower gear, really easy. Do that for 10 minutes. And I do that 3 times, and ends up being like a 12-mile bike ride in place. Takes about an hour. Get a really good endurance and speed work in there too. So I'm trying to build kind of those aspects and keep my legs in shape for when I'm able to run again. The other things that I'm doing are working on my mobility and strength. I've got a mobility disc where I'm trying to kind of rotate my ankles and keep them a little bit more flexible. I think one of the other thing that I'm doing is trying to do some mobility and foot sort of like body work. So I'm really just kind of like massaging my feet and kind of working my toes and my ankles to try to get a little bit more mobility and give in those kind of joints, to keep them a little fresh. I have pretty long history of sprained ankles, and it's a pain to get those to heal up right. The other thing I'm doing is using a band for big toe strengthening exercises. That plus yoga, and then foam rolling, and I have like have a massage gun too, so I use that a good bit and try to just kind of keep everything loose, keep the muscles loose a bit. I think one of the problems that I had when I injured my it's my left foot that's injured now, is that I think that it seemed like maybe the big toe wasn't ready for the barefoot minimal style running. And so I'm trying to strengthen up the big toe so it's doing what it should do as far as kind of on the push off. And then I might also, I'm thinking I might also need a more cushioned shoe. So still going to keep it zero drop, going to keep it kind of as minimal as possible, but definitely looking at something with a bit more of a midsole. And I think that I'm going to go and I'll probably talk a little bit more about that in another video a little bit later once I kind of make that decision and figure out what I'm doing. So for now, I'm hurt, but trying not to be dramatic about it, trying to use that as a chance to kind of strengthen other places where I'm weak and where, that could be a future cause of a potential injury, to kind of try to avoid that in the future. And then in the meantime, trying to keep my endurance up and, hey, at the worst, I'm riding on a bike and I'm binging some shows and getting caught up on Bachelor and stuff. So in any case, my foot's getting a bit better every day, little by little, trying to have a positive outlook. Hopefully I'll be running again soon. I hope that you kind of stick around and check out kind of what that ends up looking like and seeing what kind of progress I'm able to make. I'm really looking forward to sharing that with everyone. And thank you for watching this video and checking out my channel. Like and subscribe if you would like, and I will see you on the next one. All right, have a great day. Bye.